Previously on this channel, you joined me on the celebrity reflection around the island nation of Cuba as we passed by vessels that I pointed out along the way. I took you around the ship, then it was time for lunch, and then I verified our left turn around Cuba via our wake. The next day, the reflection came to a stop at Grand Cayman as we tendered to the island via a small boat, affording me a view of our ship from a distance. Upon reaching land, I dined at Guy Harvey's restaurant, which afforded a great view of all the ships here, and then it was back to the port to rejoin the massive ship and have dinner as we worked our way to the island of Cozumel, Mexico. As anticipated, we're approaching Cozumel on its northern side. The dock is on the west side of the island, so we'll be making a wide left turn around to go between the mainland near Playa del Carmen and Cozumel Island. It's early in the morning, and after checking out the initial view of Cozumel from my balcony, I went inside my stateroom to view the map on the TV. We're still headed west-northwest, and shortly we'll begin our left-hand turn to the south to approach the dock. We're finally seeing signs of life as we approach Mexico, and I'm interested in seeing it all. Without leaving my cabin, I could see our wake in a left-hand turn as planned to head to the south toward the dock we'll be assigned to today. As we complete the turn, I can see the city of Cozumel itself. These buildings are on the northern side of the city, and in the distance are the cruise ships that arrived earlier today. They're docked at a different dock than where we'll be docking at today. A pleasant good morning from Cozumel, Mexico. A local maritime pilot has joined the bridge crew by boat to provide guidance to port. We'll be there soon. We're getting closer and closer to the shoreline, and on the bow, a crowd has gathered to watch it all. Hello! I'm remaining in my cabin this morning as the city is on this side of the ship. What a massive Mexican flag that is there. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing on this side of the ship so much. On the other side, you can see mainland Mexico in the distance, but we're so close to Cozumel here, and we're also close to the Cozumel International Airport, which serves this island. From up here, we can see its runways. This is runway 11, an 8,850-foot-long asphalt runway. You can only get a view like this from a cruise ship, and I wish this was a busier airport. Most passengers fly to Cancun on the nearby mainland. The Cozumel Airport offers flights year-round, but many flights are offered seasonally. For example, Southwest's service to Austin. That's a nice yacht out there, but we're taller, so we get the better airport view. This is the local Cozumel Air Traffic Control Tower. We're turning in towards the dock, which is located at the central part of town. This dock is an older dock. A newer dock with a dock village has been built south of here, but where we will go places us within walking distance of the city. Before we pull into the dock, I'm looking to the northwest because this allows me to see down the Cozumel Airport's other runway, the 10,165-foot-long runway 5. But down below, local dock hands are getting ready to receive this ship's lines when thrown. This is all coordinated with the bridge crew who's moving this massive ship closer and closer to the dock. These are critical moments for the ship for all involved. We move to the dock very, very slowly. We're not in a protected harbor, but rather in open water, so wind and rough seas can affect how we dock, but today is a good day. It's time for the lines to be thrown from the ship to the crew awaiting them on the ground. These are thin and lightweight lines that are attached to the thick and strong actual lines that will be used to dock with. The actual lines are just too thick and heavy to be tossed to someone on the ground. The ground crew can easily pull in the light lines until the heavy lines are in their hands, and they can use those heavy lines to tie the cleats onto the dock. Here comes one of the many heavy lines that will keep the ship at the dock. As you can see from the way the ground worker is holding the blue line, it is not easy to move. It is a beautiful day here in Mexico. It's time to go ashore. This is the first time I get to stand up against the reflection. It's a long walk along the pier to the ship terminal, so what better way to get there than via a private cycle with a driver? The port is known as Punta Langosta, and the first thing I did was grab a taxi to head over to the beach. I have made multiple visits to Cozumel over the years, so I've developed a routine, and I generally repeat what I've done in the past. I know that there are many beaches with chairs, water sports, pools, and food just south of the cruise docks, so I asked my driver to take me in that direction. Today, we'll be going to the San Francisco Beach Club, and the first thing I did upon arrival was order some quesadillas. This is a popular place, and many of the visitors came from other cruise ships that docked at Cozumel's other dock. There's another beach area just south of here that's even nicer than this one, but my cab driver dropped me off here today. That's fine. It was nice to be here and enjoy the amenities that come with the admission, and it's great for families. It was really easy to get here as there are always taxi drivers that recommend this area. I enjoyed not only the sea, but the pool that they had here too. Of course, when you're at a port of call, your time is limited and there is an all-aboard time for the ship, so I found a taxi to take me back north to the port. I still do have some time, so I'm planning on shopping at the port mall. It's a nice ride between the two, and there's definitely a lot to do on Cozumel, despite almost all the action confined to its west side. Welcome back to Punta Langosta at the cruise ship dock. This is a very well-organized shopping center with lots to offer, including clothing and food, and my favorite one here has to be the Mexican Bazaar. The abundance of Mexican sweets in this place was overwhelming. Everything looked so colorful and delicious. But all aboard time is approaching, and I need to get back to the Celebrity Reflection, so I followed the signs for boarding. On the way there, I noticed a procession with some music, and then I was afforded a great view of the ship. Let's head back to the Reflection. The mall is one level up and an escalator brings me down. This time I decided not to take a chauffeured bike ride to the ship since I'd be heading toward it and I wanted to maximize my time facing this massive ship. It's a great perspective to see not just the Solstice class ship's silhouette, but to observe how everything is laid out. But the best advantage of walking is to see up close what I observed earlier this morning from my balcony. That is, how the ship is tied to the dock. There's a lot of stress on these lines, and we're docked in open water. The ship is constantly subject to sea currents and wind. I'm back on board after a very nice day in Mexico, and I'm headed to my stateroom because it's facing the island side of Cozumel, and I could see all of the action from there. The first thing I did was retrace my steps as I walked toward the ship a few minutes ago. It's nice to see where I was from a different perspective, but as always, I can't keep my eyes down, and I got distracted by a Learjet taking off from Cozumel Airport headed to Fort Lauderdale. It's climbing out over the remote portions of the island. This plane just used runway 11, and runway 11 is also being used as an arrival runway. Here's a Challenger that took off from Guatemala City, all set to land on runway 11. This flight flew nearly over the width of Central America at its widest point, and the only time this plane flew over water was just here on approach and final approach to the runway. It was great to see this plane landing, and even better to see a Global Express 6000 taking off after that one landed. What an amazing plane this is. This plane can fly for 13 and a half hours, and the best part, well, at least for me, it has 28 windows. Down below, moving much slower, are boats returning from their day excursions. These are some of the last ship passengers to arrive before the all-aboard time, but there's no need to worry if they're late if the excursion was organized by Celebrity Cruises. It's always nice to watch boats dock. It can be quite challenging, and slow maneuvering is essential to safely dock. Before we left the dock, I spotted one more airplane taking off on runway 11. It's dark out, and the entire docking process is now going to be repeated in reverse. It should be simple as the wind has died down as things tend to calm down in the dark. All of the small boats around us have reached their docks, and the path is clear for us to move. On the cruise ship dock, ground crew members are preparing to remove the dock lines so that they can be returned to the ship. The workers have to wait for ship crew members on the lower decks of the ship to give the line some slack, and then they can remove the lines from the cleats and release them into the water where they float back toward the ship. Our lines have been removed and we're now underway for our next destination, Bimini, but we'll first spend a whole day at sea to get there. Thrusters are carefully being used to move us away from the dock toward the open waters on the other side of the ship. The calm waters are really helping us this evening. There's also a local maritime pilot aboard to help us get out safely. Once clear of the dock, we'll head northeast to once again parallel the north shore of Cuba towards Bimini, which is very close to Miami. We're getting ready for a full day at sea. It's time to take in our last glimpses of Cozumel as we move away from the dock. This departure was very peaceful, and once we were at a safe distance from the dock, we proceeded in a northerly direction. Shortly after our departure in the dark night ocean, I once again proceeded to the Opus restaurant for dinner. A great evening was had aboard the Celebrity Reflection, and I spent a good deal of time outside enjoying the warm breeze and the ocean air before retreating to my room to check the map to see our route as we head toward Cuba on our way to Bimini.